Hello, my fellow readers. Today I'm going to be talking about another book that I had sort of planned to talk about earlier in review, but just didn't end up with the time or ambition. And actually, I'm going to talk about both versions of this story because I own them both and they're both great. And that is Under the Oak Tree, and it now has a print release of the webtoon, but also the web novel has begun to be print published here, and it does have a beautiful edition. I adore this. The second volume, I think, is out this year at some point, maybe this spring. I better check that, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be out this year. And I don't think the second volume of the webtoon is out yet print-wise, and this is a beautiful hardcover. I have a little yarn saving a space in here. I was looking at it like, why did I do that, other than I think the space that I saved like tells the backstory of the kingdom so that I can keep that straight in my mind about what's happening. So let's see. I don't know what back I should read, because it's the same story. It does a fairly faithful adaptation for the webtoon. But I think I'll go ahead with the web novel. I'll read its little tag because I like the little tag for this. Most fairy tales end with a wedding and a happily ever after, but this is no fairy tale. Lady Maximilian is the daughter of the powerful Duke Croiso, but she is rarely allowed outside her family's sprawling castle for fear that her stutter will tarnish their noble name. When she is forced to marry Sir Riften, a low-born knight caught in one of her father's schemes, Maxie doesn't dare hope for happiness, let alone love. Her stumbling communication and his gruff manner sour their relationship before it can begin, and Riften leaves without a word the morning after their vows are exchanged. Now, 3 years after their disastrous wedding night, Riften has returned as a war hero. To Maxie's surprise, despite rumors that he was offered marriage to Princess Agnes, a beautiful and renowned sorceress, Riften still wants Maxie for his wife. And when he comes to claim her, his desire bewilders Maxie, even as she is overcome by the scorching heat that Riften's presence ignites within her. As she learns to navigate the intricacies of her new life, Maxie will find herself and her courage and discover that she is anything but powerless. And this is just volume 1. I'm just looking. So this collects chapters 1 through 76 of the web novel. And yes, this was published first as a Korean web novel and now has been translated and brought here, and is a great romantasy if you are into romantasy, which is all the rage nowadays. I like it a lot. I'm a fan of most. I don't love all and all parts equally, but I do in general like romantasy. This is great if you're a fan. We are introduced to Maxie right away. She's the main character, and we learn right away that Maxie is a victim of abuse from her father and really his people, his inner court servers, whatever in general. She has been made to feel inadequate, and she does suffer from a stutter. Now, I think part of the stutter is also in part an anxiety reaction to the abuse that she's suffering. So she may have always had the stutter, but she's also not been able to overcome it because of the brutality of the situation that she's in. She's always being told how unworthy she is. So as I said, years ago, Maxie was wed to Riften, and she had mixed feelings about that because she didn't really know Riften. She didn't even know what was happening. She's suddenly thrown into this wedding. They have their wedding night together with all that entails, and then the next morning he's gone. So she didn't really even get to know him, knows nothing about what to think. She's kind of excited about being married to a degree, but she doesn't really know what it means or what's expected of her. Now, all these years later, Riften comes back. He was highly successful in the war campaign that he's been under, and so he's been promoted. And honestly, the whole time that he's been gone, or this time leading up to him returning, her father has essentially been telling Maxie that he's going to want to divorce her once he gets back, because there's rumors about Riften and I didn't remember that she was a sorceress, but the princess that he's been tied to, and that the king really wants them to get married, and so he's probably going to divorce Maxie and go with her. But to Maxie's utter surprise, it doesn't, at least at first, seem that way. Riften finds her and wants to be with her intimately. He does seem a little mad at her, though, and part of the anger that occurs there is that she has been at her father's house the whole time that he was gone, and he feels that her role was to go to their house, their married house, their manor, and to have been taking care of that place. And so he is coming into this believing that Maxie doesn't think that what he has and what he is providing is good enough for her, since she's the daughter of this duke, that she was used to being more of an upper class noble, and therefore is looking down on him and what he's bringing to the marriage. This is nothing. This couldn't be further from the truth. Maxie had no idea what was expected of her, or that she had this house that she could go to, because I think, in all honesty, she would have left her father in a heartbeat because it was really not a good place. But Riften doesn't understand that. So part of the whole initial setup for the story is them trying to come to understand one another and decide that they want to be with one another, because you have like Maxie worried that if she does something wrong, that Riften will very quickly leave her and be with the princess, and Riften thinking that Maxie thinks that he's not good enough for her. Meanwhile, he actually believes very highly in the sacredness of their marriage and has had no intention to leave her or cheat on her or any of that. He wants to be with his wife, who is Maxie, and he finds her very attractive. And they do have some very romantic moments. But yeah, I don't know. It's about that. But beyond their relationship, because they have to have their own jobs to do as well. Riften still has things to do as his role, not only in his new position, but as a soldier, he still has things that he needs to do. And Maxie needs to learn how to be the lady of the manor, how to take care of the house. And so she is given the task to redecorate parts of the house. So she has to do that. Meanwhile, I'm trying to remember what his role is. There is another major character that comes in, and I think is he the mage? The something? Anyway, he's kind of higher ranked. Oh my gosh, it's gonna bother me because he's in like all of these scenes. If you remember what his name is. He's this guy, and he has like the position like over the house, and so he's kind of, but he also has the magic. So I'm like, he's the sorcerer, the mage, the something. But she's sort of paired with him to learn things. And he likes to inform her about how like she's wasting too much money, how she should be doing this or that. So he kind of is teaching her, even though he also insults her half the time. But he is one of the main people that is teaching her more about the land, about what's happening in the whole kingdom and the wars that are happening. So he kind of is also the one giving us the exposition about the history and what's happening, but also through their interactions together and all the things that are uncovering. And I feel like kind of free to talk about this stuff and not be like too spoileries, although this is kind of a mild spoiler for Volume 1, but like I said, it's kind of okay because this is the Volume 1 of the story, so like the story's not over. But it does come to be revealed that Maxie has the ability to manipulate mana, aka she has like magical abilities. And so that becomes part of what is also going to be taught to her. And I like that. I know it's kind of like overdone because so many of the girls are like special snowflakes, but I don't really view that for Maxie because it's not like she's the one and only person that would have abilities. But also, she's lived a pretty rough life. In many ways, it reminds me of My Happy Marriage, although she, as the story opens, she's already married to Riften, but it does remind me of that, about these two people that are coming together, and her, especially as a victim, is now in a safe place where she can learn and grow and explore her own abilities, and I appreciate that. And it's the same like with My Happy Marriage. It really is a story about overcoming what's happened in the past and her finding her own self, and yes, also discovering love. And I don't know, I just enjoyed this very much. I think it's very good. I don't think you can really go wrong either way, or you can do them both like I do. It's very good. Under the Oak Tree, the web novel also has an audiobook, so I listened to the audiobook as well, and it was very well done, well narrated, like well acted for the narration, and I enjoyed it a lot. I was just happy listening to it, like I don't know, I was just caught up in the story. I enjoyed it very much. I can't wait for the next volume. Of either of both. I can't wait to see what happens next. I think they're really good. They're really well done, and I hope that they continue with like these brilliant additions that just look so nice and are collector worthy. I will definitely not be getting rid of this anytime soon. I very much enjoy it. And I don't know, have you tried it? This was one of the ones that I think I had always seen little previews for, and I was attracted to the story, but then I saw like a fan cam edit of the story, and it pulled me more into it because it's showing like, you know, lots of snippets from the story. And there's another one that I'm going to be reading and reviewing, reviewing, I already read it, but reviewing shortly that was like the same way. I discovered a few, I would say, webcomics that were like that, where I saw like a fan edit, and I was just so into the story that I wanted to like read it. And then if I saw that they were coming out with a print version, I was sure to get it. But this one had been on my radar for a while, and so I think I pre-ordered both. And I think it's worth it. So what do you think? Have you read it? Give it a try if you haven't. It's great. That is it for this video. Until next time. Bye.